Long ago, when the world was still young, people had begun to live in ways that were hurtful and wrong. Everywhere you looked, there was selfishness, dishonesty, and violence. Many people had forgotten about kindness, goodness, and the God who created them. But in the middle of this dark and troublesome world lived one man who was completely different. His name was Noah. Noah had a peaceful heart. He treated people fairly, loved his family, and respected God. While others ignored what was right, Noah chose to walk in the path of goodness. Because of this, God noticed him. One day, as Noah went about his normal work on the farm, God spoke to him with a message that would change everything. God told Noah that the world had become too corrupt and filled with wickedness. A fresh beginning was needed. But because Noah was righteous and faithful, God had chosen him to help start this new beginning. God then gave Noah a massive instruction. He was to build a giant wooden ark, a boat so large it would hold his family, different kinds of animals, and enough food to last for a long time. Even though Noah had never built anything so huge before, he didn't argue or complain. He simply trusted God and got to work. Every day, Noah carried wood, hammered beams together, and shaped the massive structure. The ark grew bigger and bigger until it towered over the land like a floating house, waiting for water. As Noah worked, people around him laughed and mocked him. Why build a boat on dry land? What kind of flood could ever reach here? But Noah didn't allow their words to discourage him. He knew what God told him, and he trusted that God's plan was true, even if others didn't understand it. After many years of work, the ark was finally completed. It had rooms inside, 3 strong levels, and a huge door on the side. The moment the ark was ready, something incredible began to happen. Animals started moving toward Noah's home all by themselves. Lions strode peacefully side by side. Birds flew in circles overhead. Elephants walked in gentle pairs. Small insects, reptiles, and giant creatures all came together, guided by God's hand. People who once mocked Noah became silent as they watched this unbelievable sight. Noah and his family helped the animals settle inside the ark and stored food for both humans and creatures. When everything was ready, God told Noah and his family to enter the ark. Once they were all safely inside, God himself closed the great door, sealing them in for protection. Suddenly, the world outside changed. Clouds gathered and heavy rain began to fall. Water rose from the ground and poured from the sky. The land began to flood. Rivers overflowed, and everything around Noah disappeared beneath the rising waters. But inside the ark, Noah and his family were safe and protected under God's care. For 40 days and 40 nights, the rain continued nonstop. The ark was lifted high above the earth, floating on the endless waters. After the rain stopped, the world was silent and still, covered completely by water. Days passed as the ark drifted across the surface until finally it rested on top of a mountain. To know if the land was dry again, Noah released a raven and later a dove. One day the dove returned with a fresh olive leaf in its beak, a clear sign that plants were growing again and the earth was recovering. Noah waited a bit longer until God told him it was safe to leave the ark. Stepping out onto dry ground felt like a new beginning. Fresh air, warm sunlight, and peaceful silence surrounded Noah, his family, and all the animals that hurried out joyfully. Noah's heart was full of gratitude, so he built an altar and thanked God for keeping them safe through everything. Then God placed something beautiful in the sky, a radiant rainbow stretching across the clouds. It was more than just colors. It was God's promise. God told Noah that the rainbow would be a sign of his covenant, a reminder that he would never again destroy the earth with a flood. It was a symbol of hope, mercy, and God's everlasting love for all living creatures. The story of Noah teaches that staying faithful, doing what is right, and trusting God, even when others don't understand, can protect us in the hardest times. It reminds us that God always keeps His promises and that new beginnings are possible, no matter how dark things seem.